Hey guys, it's me, Will Motivation, here in my garage. Behind me we got the Lambo, the Ferrari, and the M4. But you know what I like more than the Lamborghini, the Ferrari, and that brand new M4? What I like more than that is knowledge. That's right. Don't have any books here in my garage. Just got some cleaning supplies. But what I do have is a little bit of knowledge. So in today's video, this is gonna be a quick 5 or 10 minute video talking about the best advice I have ever received. And I'm gonna share that advice with you guys. Now, this advice I got from my late great uncle, and I call him great just because he was a great human being. I got a lot of good advice from my dad as well. But there's one thing that my uncle told me that's stuck in my mind, and I'm gonna share it with you guys. All right, so let's get right into it. So what is the best piece of advice that I ever received? This advice was from my uncle, so shout out to David Coleman, who's my uncle, my mom's brother. He used to just call me up randomly when I graduated from college. I think he saw a little bit of himself in me, and he just wanted to do his part as a good uncle and give me some advice. So I'm gonna do the same thing for any of you guys out there. Maybe you have a good, father, a good uncle, big brother, that kind of thing, which is great. Always listen to them, take their good advice. But if you don't have that, then this one's for you. I'll be that uncle for you right now. All right, so let's go. Best piece of advice my uncle gave me was, your life will be and is the sum of your decisions. So let that sink in for a minute. Your life is the sum of your decisions. Your life will be, in the future, the sum of your decisions. So what does that mean, the sum of your decisions? So that means add up all of your decisions. Add up all of the things that you decide to do, you decide to spend your time on. Like if you look in the past, all of the decisions that you've made, all of the ways that you reacted to something the cards that you were dealt in life. How did you react to those cards you were dealt in life? That where you are in life right now is a result of your decision on how to react and take what you were given, the cards you were dealt in life. How did you take those cards and play those cards in life with your decisions? And then in your future, it's going to be the same thing. So if you never realized this, and maybe you're one of those people, as I lean on the Ferrari F8 Spider, don't worry, I'm not going to scratch it. Look, in the future, if you haven't already realized this, if you haven't already realized that you are responsible for your own destiny, then you need to start thinking that way right now. And the way you control your destiny and you have the future that you want to have is by making decisions in everyday life. The small decisions that you make, the big decisions that you make, how you decide to spend your time is going to determine the quality of life that you have in the future. And it's super obvious for most of you guys, right? Most of you guys realize that if you go out and rob a bank, you might get caught. You get caught, then you're going to face the consequences of making a decision to rob a bank. Or on the flip side, you might decide, I'm going to go learn how to be a computer programmer. And you do that, you learn how to be a computer programmer, and then you realize there's a demand and people are willing to pay a lot of money to have you come work for them or do work for them as a contractor, whatever, as a computer programmer, and then you make a lot of money based on that decision. But sometimes it's not those big decisions that are good or bad. Sometimes it's the small decisions from what you eat every day and whether or not in the future you have health problems. So it might be a small decision today on eating some greasy fast food, which I'm guilty of. I'm not passing judgment. But these are things that I have to take into account as well, right? but what you eat every day might affect your health in the future. A small decision, right? The decision on how you spend your time. So you have maybe you're working a 9-to-5 job, and when you come home, you got a decision to make. How are you going to spend your time? Do you have a family? Do you have loved ones? Are you going to give them attention and time? After that, how much time you got left before you go to bed? What are you going to do? Are you going to watch TV? You going to sit on the couch and watch TV? Are you going to pick up a book and read something and learn something? Are you going to go out with your friends and party and spend money? Are you going to sit at the computer or actually pick up your phone, listen to an audio book and learn something new, or maybe work on a side project that you have going on, maybe work on a business? How are you going to spend your time? Those are all decisions that we make on a daily basis on how we spend our time, what we decide to focus on. Here's another small little tidbit. What you focus on expands. So if you decide to focus on negative things, then your negative environment will expand. Negative things happening will expand, and you'll pay attention to them and give energy to them. If you choose not to focus on negative things and you choose to focus on the positive things that are going on, then the positive things in your environment and your life will expand, and you'll start to get more and more and pay attention to and receive more and more positive things and blessings that could be happening all around you, because that's what you choose to focus on. But the key word is choose. You choose. That's a decision. So what you decide to focus on, that's what expands. So you have to make those decisions. Like I said, it's the best piece of advice that my uncle, that anybody really ever gave me, is that it's decisions. Because if you make like a series of bad decisions, you can end up in a bad place really fast. Like, let me give you some basics that people fall into, and it happens too often. But I'm gonna give you some basics for the young people out there, man. It's a bad decision to use drugs. It's a bad decision to experiment with drugs. It's a bad decision to hang around people that use drugs, because then it becomes normal to you, and then it gets you that much closer to trying drugs and not thinking twice about it. You might think everything is okay, it's safe, and all of this other stuff, but you just don't know who was the chemist mixing them drugs that you get ready to try before you tried them, and that was a decision that you could have made. And I'm gonna tell you, that could be a decision that could change the rest of your life and take you down a path that could lead to, a hole that's hard to get out of. These are decisions that we have to make. Me personally, that's one thing I stayed away from. Like I have my things that I like that cost me money. Like, I like cars, right? You see this Ferrari behind me, you see this Lamborghini behind me. A lot of people would consider that to be a waste. For me, sometimes I even consider it to be kind of a waste, right? But I have my reasons. Like, I know if I have this kind of thing, it continues to make me work hard. It continues to be a motivation for me to have fun and enjoy and make sense of a lot of the hard work that I do and the things that I do a lot for other people. So I like to be able to do things for myself to keep a balance. But knowing how I am and having that kind of a passion for something that can be considered wasteful, I don't need anything else like that can take me down a path that might not be good, to wasting money or having an addiction to something or something like that. I don't need any more of that. So that's why I stayed away from that kind of thing. But you got to make good decisions. How you spend your time, especially when you're younger or even when you're older, right? You could be doing better things with your time, and you choose to spend time on things that are just a waste and don't get you to where you want to be. So you got to make the decision also to figure out where you want to be in the future. Because if you know where you want to be, then you can make decisions that will get you there. Or sometimes, like for me, I knew one thing I did not want to be. I knew I did not want to be poor. I knew I did not want to be broke. So I made decisions that would keep me far away from being poor or being broke. Now, it's always a possibility, but I try to make decisions that will keep me in a good place so that I can stay far away from where I do not want to be. And that has to do with those cards we're all dealt, right? So, you know, I grew up in a neighborhood where mostly there were people that were mostly poor, people that were on welfare, people that were down and out on drugs. Like the street that I grew up on here in Columbus, Ohio, when I was in high school, was the hottest street in the city for like drug sales, crack cocaine, that kind of thing. And those are the cards I was dealt. This is where I grew up, right? I didn't choose where I was going to grow up. I didn't choose for the neighborhood to get into that situation. But what I did choose was to stay away from it. I didn't want to sell drugs. I didn't want to buy drugs. I remember one time I pulled up go in my garage in the back of my house, like where I live. We have alleys, which are like, you got your main streets in front of the house, and then you got these back streets behind the house. And a lot of times in the back streets, there's nobody taking care of them. They can be kind of like dangerous. There's nobody like back there watching what's going on. I remember one time I was pulling into my garage, into my house, and somebody came out from one of the houses behind my house. Somebody came out just because I pulled up in the alley. They came out to try to sell me drugs. They had a bacon pan like you would see at a picnic that they had. I don't know what kind of drugs were in there. I'm assuming it was probably crack or something. And they came out to my car to sell me something out of the bacon pan, and I just wanted to go park my car in the garage and do normal stuff. But these are the things, like, so for me, it was a decision that I'm staying away from that because I know where that leads. That leads to a place where I don't want to go. A lot of people might see it as an opportunity that leads to a place for fast money. But I'm telling you right now, your freedom is everything. Your freedom is everything. And one place where you don't want to be is locked up. Ask somebody that's locked up. You don't want to be there. All right, so it's all about decisions, man. I want to keep it positive, though. So I want you guys to make good decisions. This was just something on my heart to share. I was kind of laying in the bed. I was like, you know, what's the best piece of advice somebody gave me? Let me share it with somebody else. And that advice is, your life is the sum of your decisions. So all of those small decisions you make on a daily basis, try to make good decisions. You could go left in the wrong, down that wrong path, or you can go right up that good path. Even though the going right might be the harder route, make the good decision and you'll thank yourself later. You know what I'm saying? When you're where you want to be versus lost down that road, that's hard to get out of. All right, so make good decisions. I love you guys and want the best for you. Drop me a comment. Let me know what other videos we want to see. I know this is a little bit outside of the car content, but hey, there's the cars right there. Ferrari F8 for those that care. Lamborghini Huracan. I'm gonna do more videos. I got a big project coming with that car. I got a surprise project having to do with this car. And well, a lot of people have been loving the BMW content, so there's a lot more of that coming. Some good videos with this coming too. So stay tuned, and make good decisions. All right, peace.
I thought that it might be nice, since this is Thanksgiving, that we just add a little bit of something in here, because Mother's gone, and for the years, it started out as me going home to see my mother and my two little sisters. And when Betsy and I got married and we came back with Adrian, it became going back. Then by this time, Ruth Carroll was beginning to have Danny, and we watched how much Lauren. When Ruth Carroll had Lauren, I'm sorry, I'm tired. I mean, when, and we watched how Danny Lauren came along, and Lauren began to show signs of being very bright. And Ruth Carroll had taught him to read by the time he was 4. And God had put in place that Mother was there to help with the rearing of the children. She got a lot from it, and she was able to be close to all her grandchildren. Mother is gone. Danny has turned out to be a very fine young man. He's a fine fella. Along comes, after Lauren comes Daniel. Daniel just back in
That's right. That's what after Lauren comes Daniel.
After Lauren comes Daniel. Daniel.
Wait a minute, Dad, you need to vote.
Daniel was at first I didn't know what Daniel's, I didn't know what his strong points were. And but I knew one thing, he could rap. I heard him talking on the telephone to those girls. And he could always talk to women on the phone, and I noticed he was very smooth. He had that Moss physique and build. He carried himself well. And I'd hear him in conversations. Then here comes Roger. Here comes Leroy. And then you begin to see the interaction. And I began to watch what type friends. Because you want to know, you love the kids, you want to know what type kids are Ruth Carol Ray, what type. And then you see their friends come in, and they're all nice boys. They're all fine kids. Then along comes Ellie. Ellie's a fine looking girl. And Ellie comes, and one of the big disappointments of my life was to hear Ellie in that station wagon the day of Roger's graduation said, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to college. And it really dug, it hurt me. I mean, it really hurt me. I said, to hear the boys do. And then here comes Ellie. Goes and gets her a trade that she will have for the rest of her life. When maybe everybody in here ain't got no job, Ellie can go out and make enough money to take care of herself well and have a skill. And now going back to college. To see her and hear stories of her getting the family up and say, come on everybody, we're going to church. Let's go to church this morning. Then Roger. We're talking about Roger again. Roger and Dan and Lauren, the stuff they used to talk sometime with their little...
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Ready?
Yes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ruby. Happy birthday to you.
Funny haircuts and a little, what is that shag? What is the thing I love?
Tracking on them.
Niggas gonna be good about it. Look at it, shoulder. Look at it. That's a new dance called a Muscle Man. That's the Muscle Man dance. Look at it. Try that.
Y'all gotta clap, y'all gotta clap. Y'all gotta clap. Come on, come on. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Go Ruby. Go Ruby. Go Ruby. Go Ruby. Go Ruby.
It's the one and only Floyd Money Mayweather. I'm here to tell you guys to go to Will Motivation. The exotic cars is crazy. I've been watching this show for a little while now and it's growing. But we need everybody else to subscribe to Will Motivation and support Will. I'm supporting them. You do the same.